Mr. Kennedy, I know that you had that polio when you were a kid. What kind of work did you do?
Well, I first got out of high school. I drove a truck, and was going up to put in for unemployment. You know, trucking was seasonal, and there was a guy in there looking. He was a professor, and he asked me if I wanted to learn how to be a dental technician. And I went down there and tried out, and I stayed there for 10 years. So I got arthritis in my hands, and I couldn't work the tools anymore. And when I was in school, I was a good math student. So I hired out to YUMA kind of water unit hydrographer. I measure water. And the opening come on for a ditch rider. I said, well, you want to take that, or you want to stay the hydrographer? I said, well, let's take the ditch rider. And so I was a ditch rider for 30 years.
Now, what does a ditch rider do?
You take the water and donate it out to the farmers. Farmers can put in a card, say, I need the water such and such a date, and you line them up and get them, order the water from the dam and get it to them.
So now this is Colorado River water.
Right.
And I know from talking to farmers that you just literally can't farm here if you don't have irrigation rights. That's
right. It's too dry. It's just, I think we get about a half inch of rain a year, and that ain't enough to grow anything.
So if I've got water rights, I'm not using any water except when I tell you, the ditch rider, I want some of my water.
Right.
So then are you responsible for opening a gate or something to let that water in?
I open the gates and make sure that the ditch riders below me get their water, and then I can put out the farmer's water on my run. And if I need water, I call a ditch rider above me and tell him I need 20 feet. And he'll say, well, he'll call it in, call me back, say, he'll get it tomorrow or this afternoon. Or.
So I'm a farmer and I've got water rights, but I can't just use all the water I want, can I?
Yeah, but I measure it and charge you for it, and for your regular fee, you get 5 acre-feet. Unless you got sandy ground, you get 8. Acre-foot, that's 1 acre covered with 1 foot of water. And you get 5 acre-feet, so that's 5 foot of water. If you're growing lettuce that needs an awful lot of water, or you're doing some of the other crops that takes cauliflower, and you may use up your allotment, and you just go ahead and order water, but they charge you. They'll send you a bill for the excess water.
Now, I'm sure that fluctuates, but about how much for an acre-foot over the years that you were in this did that fellow have to pay if he was taking another acre-foot of water?
Gosh, I don't know how.
But
it fluctuates, whatever. I know one thing, that when the government run that organization and they turn it over to the farmers run it, cut the water bill, and still had money left over, so the government didn't do a very good job running. And they were the first reclamation project in the United States to pay itself off.
So now it's owned by the farmers. Now, is that considered a co-op?
I don't know if you call that a co-op or not. They all own it, and they all
What's its
all
name?
got to say so.
What's its name?
Yuma County Water Users Association.
Yuma County Water Users Association. Well, apparently the farmer figures it out pretty well to not have to ask very often for extra water, or is it common that they need extra water?
They don't use it so much anymore since they started the sprinkler system. You see, you drive down to the valley and see those sprinklers running?
Yes.
Well, they can cut down on water usage there by 2/3.
Because they get the water where the plant is and not so much of it sinking down into the ground.
Right. We don't have the drainage system doesn't have to carry it off.
Let's talk about the drainage system for a minute. So you have canals that bring the water in, and then you have like sump canals, or what do you call those other canals?
Drainages.
Drainage canals to take the water that
Seeps
goes through,
yeah.
and then it goes back into the Colorado River.
Well, no, they go down to Mexico, and Mexico uses it.
Okay, but they don't put it into the river?
No, they got some pumps down at the border, and they pump it up. Those drainages are real low, and they pump it up high enough to flow through the canal down to Mexico.
So it'll flow. I'll be darned.
They get credit for it.
I didn't know that at all.
They got a contract with Mexico that they must deliver Mexico so many acre-foot of water.
Okay.
So they give them that water, and they get credit for that. And then they got the dam over here, you know.
Morales Dam. So, did the foot give you a bad time when you were doing the work of a ditch rider?
Right there at the last it did.
But for years, no real problem.
No real problem. And then they said they had polio syndrome.
Whatever that is.
It makes your legs are numb, and they tingle.